winners who are splitting over $300,000 of Terry's money. If you missed out on the fun, do not worry. Terry running it back for Week 9. Scan the QR code, download the app, and enter the NFL Sunday Challenge contest for free. You know how this goes. The more people who enter, the bigger the jackpot gets. So get on that. All right, we got Mike Vick back with us now. We're talking Cowboys, Vikings. Dak Prescott could not go yesterday in this one. So Cooper Rush making his first NFL start for Dallas. And how about the 5-year vet? He was ready, shined under the bright lights, threw for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns, both in the second half. That second TD was a perfect 5-yard toss to Amari Cooper to take the lead with 51 seconds left. Cowboys, big win over Minnesota, 20-16, your final. Mike Vick, what did the Cowboys prove in their win over the Vikings without Dak?
I mean, they proved that they can win playing defense. And last night was the prototypical game where you had to play great defense to win the game. And Cooper Rush did what he needed to do. But I found myself really excited to watch the Cowboys on every defensive possession. If this was 2020, we probably would have been cutting the TV off in the third quarter, minus Dak and the way the defense played. But I'm caught up in what the defense is doing. I love what Trayvon Diggs is doing. I'm always interested to see how Michael Parsons is moved around. Where is he playing? Is he lined up with his hand in the dirt? Is he playing linebacker? And you just see these guys just flying all over the field, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Now all the offense has to do is play consistent football. Cooper Rush didn't have to beat Dak. All he had to do was manage the game, and he did that. So collectively, overall, it just shows that this team are learning to play together. They don't need Dak to necessarily win games, but when Dak comes back, he's going to be the greatest asset that the Dallas Cowboys have ever had, because I see this team continuing to get better.
And by the way, I'm not so certain Dak's going to be back next week. The Cowboys have been cagey with this injury, with the fact that they play Denver next week, then they play Atlanta, then they play the Chiefs. I think they might go slow with Dak's calf injury. But I totally agree with Mike about the Cowboys defense. Randy Gregory has had, some off-the-field struggles. When he's on the field, he's outstanding. Micah Parsons just got another tackle in the backfield. I can't remember the last linebacker to walk into this league, be able to play multiple spots, and make that type of impact as a rookie. And Diggs he got beat once, but played another good game, even though he finally didn't have an interception. So the story was the defense that after, first drive of the game allows a touchdown, and the rest of the game, they treated Kirk Cousins the way a lot of defenses treat Kirk Cousins on national television. So I give them full credit. But Broussard, I want to give credit to one other person, and it's someone I was very critical of early in the year, and that's Zeke. And you might say, Zeke didn't have a very good game. 3 yards per carry, only around 50 yards rushing. That's all true. What's also true is he won them the football game. Show the play that prevented this game from going to overtime, that prevented the Vikings from being able to get the ball back for a chance to win in regulation. That is a great play. 3rd and 11, they have it snuffed out. The defense knows that the Cowboys are not going to take a chance throwing it into the end zone in this spot because they have 3 points guaranteed. They have the perfect defense called for that play, Broussard, and Zeke just makes 2 guys miss. Remember at the beginning of the year when there was the game where it might have been game 1, where he didn't hit the corner of the end zone against Tampa, and he couldn't make he had a one-on-one with the defensive back, and the defensive back brought him down. And that was when I was real low on Zeke. This makes up for it. He won them the game with that play. So credit to Cooper Rush for playing well enough. One of his big plays did hit a defensive back right in the chest and then bounces up, but he made enough plays. Zeke won him the game with this play. That plus the defense, that is a great win for the Cowboys. A great win without Dak.
Great point about Zeke, Nick. I was actually going to bring that up, so that's a good call. The difference now and when he started the season, that just shows it right there in those 2 plays. But, look, I don't want to take anything away from Dallas because you guys, I agree with both of what you said on the defense to hold that offense, which has a great passing game and a great running game. And Dalvin Cook got some yards yesterday, but to hold them to 16 points is impressive. And the defense seems to be moving from just pretty good to actually being good now. And that's really all you need with Dak Prescott and that offense. So I don't want to take any credit away from them. And, you know, it feels like over the last few years and for the most part, the last couple of decades, there's always been this sense of if something can go wrong with the Cowboys, it will. Right? Something's going to happen to derail their season. And not just an injury, but just them not being properly motivated or not having the right mindset or whatever it is. They don't seem to be that in that space anymore. Like, that was a game yesterday they could have easily lost. It was a hungry Minnesota team that needed a victory, and they went in there and won with Cooper Rush at quarterback. So giving them all the props. However, Wilds, I think this is largely also about Kirk Cousins. And he's had a great year. I like Kirk Cousins. And he's had a very good year. But in prime time, night games, when they're the only game on national television, he's now 8-17 in those games. He's now 7-35 against teams that end the season with winning records. Dallas will probably make it 7-36. So a lot of this is Kirk Cousins continuing his pattern of not being able to deliver in the big moments against the top teams, Wilds.
Yeah, but what are you going to do with Kirk Cousins? And I know that we're talking Cowboys, but, like, he's not so bad that you want to move on, but he's not so good that he's going to win you a Super Bowl. So, for start, if you were in charge of the Vikings personnel, you've got a good to occasionally great quarterback who puts up big numbers. What do you do with him? The Vikings seem to be stuck in the middle. What would you do?
No, look, I agree with you. I'm not saying you got to cut him, but I'm just saying it takes just a tad bit of shine off of the Cowboys win. It was a great win, but you got to factor that in as well.
All right, well, that Cowboys win stretched their win streak to 6 games, and we'll monitor what's happening with Dak and his availability for Week 9. But let's take our attention and turn it to Tampa Tom, which was a very fluid sentence. He turned it over 3 times yesterday in the loss. Saints defense. Let's talk some football, specifically some Bucs Saints and Jameis Winston injuring his knee earlier in the game. This didn't look good. Coach Sean Payton would describe it as significant, said it potentially could end Jameis' season. So Trevor Siemian in at quarterback because Taysom Hill's still out with that concussion. You'd think Brady would have a field day at this point. You would be wrong. Bucs struggled, but they were in it till the end, the very end. Right here when this happened, Brady, Bucs driving, picked off by P.J. Williams, and that would seal it for New Orleans, the defending champs, falling to the Saints with their 3rd-string quarterback. Mike, that had to surprise you. Bucs couldn't get a win against the Saints after Jameis left with a knee injury. Were you surprised?
Honestly, no, I wasn't surprised. First, I'll just say this. You know, every quarterback is entitled to a bad day, and I think Tom had his bad day yesterday, and it's hard to win in New Orleans. But Dennis Allen don't get enough credit with the New Orleans Saints as far as what he's done on defense. He has a big 3 in Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, and Demario Davis, all 3 levels of the defense. They got Pro Bowl players, and when you can scheme around that, when you can call defenses around those type of players, then you're going to get good, productive defense. So I feel like they know Brady. Seeing him a couple of times over the last year, they found his tendencies and know what they like. And Tom struggles in New Orleans. But the one thing that's going to have to happen is that come playoff time, he may end up back in New Orleans like he did last year. So we'll see what happens. No time to panic. But the New Orleans Saints defense deserve a lot of credit for what they did yesterday. Take nothing away. I did expect more out of the Bucs, but it just wasn't their day.
Yeah, I was very surprised, particularly once Jameis went down, and I'm not a huge Jameis fan.